Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. What are you talking about? That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Netflix Devil May Cry video. More specifically, like the title suggests, another breakdown video. I'm going to be breaking down the music video for the Evanescence song for the Devil May Cry anime. Because, like I said on the community post, I have seen it, and I'm fully aware that it happened, it was released, and all that stuff. So you don't have to worry. Just like I did in the Netflix, breakdowns of the trailers and clips, it's going to be a similar format, all that jazz. Also, quick little side note, to everyone who keeps telling me this show is not canon, I only have one thing to say.
Shut up! Oh my god, I don't care!
I'm really not trying to be rude, but it's gotten on my nerves. I'm fully aware that this show is not canon to the overall game series. Please stop trying to reiterate this fact in the comments. I'm fully aware. Thank you. Now, moving on, let's actually break down the overall trailer or the music video and talk about some of the new scenes. Now, getting into the music video, the song is called Afterlife, sung by the amazingly talented Amy Lee by Evanescence. Now, a couple scenes do play, like the introduction of the mercenaries, and the opening is voiced by the amazing, talented, late Kevin Conroy, who is most likely voicing the Joe Biden-looking character that is the mercenary commander, which I think makes the most sense for him, given the scene that plays as a whole and other various stuff. Now, if you pause at the right moment, there is a figure standing in a fiery area, which is most likely the White Rabbit after he goes on a rampage at the museum. A lot of people were saying that the place that gets the force edge from is actually the museum, given by the fact that the thugs are stealing different cultural artifacts and also the different guards from the different shots. After that, you do have the shots of the mercenaries actually setting up to go after Dante, which we have some dialogue of in the previous trailers and some action shots, but this is actually the meeting that introduces that as a whole. As for why they're going after him, I have no idea. Lady is actually a part of this mercenary group, and it's very interesting because she's actually one of the people that goes after Dante, which we've kind of seen in a couple of the trailers, but it's actually reinforced here. Getting into the next part of the music video, we actually get into the Lady versus Dante and the mercenaries type of section. We do get some familiar shots from the other trailers, and also some new shots like Lady driving by herself, and also the earlier shots from the trailers like the mercenaries going against Dante, but we actually see another angle of Lady actually being outside that same building when Dante is fighting the mercenaries. So actually having her be a part of the group going after Dante is actually pretty interesting, and I never really realized that she was a part of that until now. And this scene actually clicks a lot more together than I actually thought it would. It actually connects to the Lady versus Dante fight on the rooftops, and also her ripping Dante's shirt off and stuff like that, which is actually pretty funny and interesting. So it's actually an interconnected fight, which is a detail I never really realized until watching this music video on how these scenes are really interconnected with the other trailers pretty well. Like you have her versus Dante and the mercenaries, her actually running in the next couple scenes, jumping in the building, going after Dante herself, and it also interconnects with the stuff we have seen from the other trailers, her and Dante having a one-on-one fight. Moving on, there are some familiar scenes like the rabbit and some intercuts between Dante, the rabbit, and Lady, so it kind of connects all three characters in one singular story. We also have more of the mercenaries versus the White Rabbit, and he actually has force edge in that scene, so that's pretty interesting. Moving on, there are some scenes that we've already seen before and some intercuts and stuff like that, but let's actually get into the more juicy stuff because there are some flashbacks, and these are interesting. Now, getting into the actual flashbacks, these are pretty interesting. You have Dante and Virgil receiving their amulets from their mother for the very first time, which is pretty cool. You have some more shots of that later, and that's intercut with Lady receiving some flashbacks and her getting scared and seeing a demon. She looks scared out of her wits, and you have a flashback of young Lady peeking on her father through a keyhole in their house. You have Arkham with hair turning back and kind of looking through the keyhole that she notices, and she gets freaked out, and it's intercut with adult Lady with it saying haunted. So that's pretty interesting. We're going to get into Lady flashback. Then you get the iconic fire scene with the fall of Dante's mother and the iconic origin, intercut with Lady seeing her dad transform into a demon. and he actually seems like a little bit of a scientist, so he's trying to fuse demon blood. So this is pretty interesting. And you have Lady and Dante's origin interconnected here with the fire and Virgil receiving the amulet and him looking a little bit angry at his brother, and that going into the face of the White Rabbit. Now, this is interesting. We are going to actually receive the origin stuff for Dante and Virgil, while also receiving some stuff for Lady's origin. Now, if you guys aren't already familiar, there was supposed to be a third manga that was supposed to focus on the character of Lady, and I feel like this series is going to actually fill in the gaps, doing its own thing, exploring Lady's trauma and her origins, and I feel like that's pretty cool, and it's something that we've never really got in the actual games. Yeah, there's dialogue here and there, but that's really about it. And there are other scenes that are pretty interesting, and it honestly paints Arkham kind of like a mad scientist or a bit of an alchemist, kind of like Singe from Arcane League of Legends. There are a lot of other shots of like flashbacks between the fire and Virgil receiving his amulet, interconnecting with the rabbit, but you also see an accident that happens with Arkham, and we also know that this version is connected with the one we see with the big ears, the blood in his mouth, and we get a focus shot of that demon incident with Lady. So there is going to be a chance that we're actually going to see how Arkham became a demon, because I actually take back what I said about them not really showing a little bit about Lady's origin and her not really expressing what happens. We actually might see it this time around, because with Arkham experimenting with blood and stuff like that, we also get Dante's amulet changing 3 different colors from red to purple to blue, and then interconnecting with the rabbit as the final shot. It's actually pretty apparent that we might get something with Arkham and we never had before, and this time around we could have a friend of Arkham's be the White Rabbit and they're a demon this time around. Or it could be Virgil. We don't really know, and that's the mystery that keeps us guessing, and I kind of like that. We also get a lot of other shots in the trailer, familiar ones. We have the stuff focusing on a flashback involving the White Rabbit, so we might actually find out that he's a different person entirely and how he comes to be and rises to power. We also get a shot of Sparta, which does hint at the idea of us getting some flashback after him, and you also have Lady using the Calian rocket launcher, named after her mother, probably mispronouncing that, but oh well. Also, you have some interconnected shots between Lady firing that and Dante fighting Cavalier Angelo, kind of similar to him fighting him in 5, so that's actually pretty cool. And the fight looks like it's on a rooftop, so that's actually pretty interesting, and it could be a similar shot to the one you have her fighting Dante on, but it could be a different environment all in its own, so there is that. Also, you have more shots between Lady fighting Dante and some other various stuff, like the plane stuff. Then you go back to the scene with the White Rabbit in the museum, him fighting the different soldiers and guards, and also killing his own mercenaries that he hired, which is actually pretty interesting, and I kind of want to see how that one plays out. Also, you have the White Rabbit trying to go into the demon world, some shots of like Agni and Rudra, the bridge fight, and a couple other things as well that we've already seen. Then we see Mundus's eyes, and this looks like it's going to be the beginning scene of the show with some flashbacks and stuff like that, and some shots on the underworld, some islands, and some unique stuff. That's actually pretty cool. We've never really gotten to see what the underworld truly looks like. We've seen bits and pieces, but we don't really know the canon version of Devil May Cry's hell, so to speak. So there is that, and we've kind of seen this in the other trailers, but the Mundus stuff is pretty cool. Then we finish the trailer with a almost beginning shot. Now, this could take place after the museum incident. We also focus on some different equipment on his table, and he looks to be a bit of a surgeon using different demon stuff, him getting an outfit together, and also it has a lot of different stuff on the walls from different pictures of the people that we know that are part of the mercenaries, and he's actually kind of familiar with that. like Lady, Dante, and a couple others. Then he turns and says the iconic Alice in Wonderland quote, "Now we're going down the rabbit hole," together. And it does look like it takes place after the museum incident, but it also looks like he's surgically done something to himself. Now, given the fact that Andy actually said on Twitter that Kevin Conroy originally actually auditioned for the role of the White Rabbit, but it didn't really fit him, I actually think it's kind of interesting because Kevin Conroy also did the voice of Hush, aka Thomas Elliot, who is a surgeon, and something that he did was cut off his own face and reconstruct himself. And that's something that looks like what the White Rabbit tried to do, at least from the way that it looks. Now, I could be wrong, especially given his dialogue and what he said in the original clip and other various stuff. And the fact that his goals are kind of mysterious. We do have some idea of what he's up to, but we really don't know. All of these are just my thoughts, so none of these are canon. They're all just based on what I know. But if you have made it to the end of the video, make sure to comment White Rabbit in the comment section, just to let me know and the YouTube algorithm know that you did make it to the end of the video. Also, I did put out a small teaser for an upcoming Daredevil Ideas video game video that I'm working on, and I have others coming pretty soon. But make sure to like, comment, share, hit the bell icon to stay notified, and subscribe, and let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below and theories. Have a wonderful rest of your day / morning or night, and peace out. Bye-bye.